Alright, so today we are going to replace the stator. How did I know my stator was gone? So what we normally do, when you're measuring your battery voltage here, read about 12.4, 12.8 volts. Start the bike on, drops down a bit. As it idles, and as you rev the engine, the voltage should increase. The stator is using the engine's turning power and converting that into electricity. So as you rev it, the voltage should go up, probably no higher than 14.6, and that's how your bike gets charged. If it goes higher than that, then you most likely have a problem with your regulator, which limits the amount of voltage, so you don't spike and damage any of your electricals. You'll know that when your headlights start burning out, etc. That's what happened to this R6 over here. So this is a K7 GSXR600, and so what I've done so far is I've just lifted the tank up, taken off the air filter. You do that by unscrewing 4 bolts where see those 4 ports, so those go right up on here. Make sure you don't lose these. Back on. And so you just loosen those, remove the sensors, remove any tubing, and then I'll put that on later, pop that out of the way. Alright. The reason why you want to do this is because the stator, the coupler is in here. So you see this one right here? Let's see. So that one right here, 3 yellow wires, that's how you know that's the one. 3 yellow wires, 3 wires going in here. That's the stator coupler. So you're going to have to disconnect that. So when you replace the stator, you're going to feed the cable through here and reconnect this piece. Okay. So your stator is here, generally. I can't speak for all bikes, but left side of your bike, I got a little damage here from a really minor low side a long time ago. So what you want to do is you want to put your bike on stands. You can do it without stands. The problem is there's always going to be oil in here. If it's not on stands and you take this off, you're going to get some oil coming out. Not all your oil, but a fair amount, unless you got a pan to catch it. It's just easier to do it with the stands. Most of the oil is going to stay in here. Not a big problem. So what do you need? Well, okay, let's see what you got. You got my stator here. Very important. You need to buy a stator gasket. It's $8 or $10. It doesn't look like much, but trust me, without this gasket, without a new gasket, your case is going to start leaking oil everywhere. Okay. Of course, your regular tools, get a multimeter so you can retest your stator after you've installed it. No, just the regular tools. Take these minor 8mm, and you need like a wrench or something because the stator's magnetized, so you're gonna have to kind of pry it out of here. It's really difficult to yank it out, especially when your bike's on stands. Okay. So just keep track of your bolts. Okay. I don't know. Some people say that you need to make sure you put each bolt where it goes, but really there's only, I think, 2 different lengths of these bolts that you need to take. So I don't know if this is the same on all bikes, but there's a little gear up here, and the trick to taking the stator out is that there's another bolt in here you gotta take out. Okay, can't take the case off without taking that off. So let me just loosen these up first. So this is gonna come off. Okay. It's a gear, don't drop any parts. Okay, see that washer? Don't lose that washer. So just to give you an idea of how that looks, there's a bushing and there's a washer there, there's a bushing in there, then this washer goes here. Okay, so set this aside, and you see right in there, that's the hidden bolt you gotta take out. So let's loosen that sucker. Okay, so let's see. Got all those bolts out. Now, this thing, if you pull this thing, it'll budge a bit, right? It's magnetized. So what you gotta do, all you gotta do is get a wrench, find some spots to get some leverage. Okay, so there you go. Over a little bit there. Okay, wherever you can get that sucker. probably scratching at my case just a little bit, but you know, it's an old case. I don't care if you've got nice woodcraft stator covers, then you might want to be more careful. Alright, see? Very easy. It's not a big deal. Okay, so let's just take a look here. Okay, so this is the cable that we will disconnect. That's up in by the airbox. So this is the stator. So if you look at it, you can see this burning right here. That is not normal. See how clean the rest of these are? It's usually bathed in oil. You know, everything's working nice. There's just no moving parts. All it is just copper wire wound up. So that's not good. In contrast, if you look at the new stator I just bought, right, this thing's mint. There's no marking, there's no black or anything like that. Okay. I did go with an OEM stator only because, well, aftermarket's not always the best for electricals. You can test them. I've heard people have no problems with some. I've heard people having problems with others. So, I mean, this is an OEM and it's gone too. So, you know, take your pick. The OEM runs about $260 for this piece right here. Just bear with me. But from the looks of it, what I gotta do is you gotta remove this so you can take the cable out, and then remove these three, pull the stator out. That's probably not going to be too easy either. So if you look at this gasket's crap. Right? It's cracked, pieces are gone. I was getting a small oil leak. It wasn't this bad before. So this is why the gasket is very important. It's quite delicate actually. Make sure we'll get to that. When you take this gasket off, make sure this surface is clean. If you got some fine grit sandpaper, that would be even better. I'm just going to kind of rip them off, scrape them off a little with a screwdriver. Do not scrape the metal. You need to have that perfect seal. Okay? So let's find some hex keys for that. Sorry. I'm using a GoPro, so I don't really know where I'm aiming this thing. Okay. Just loosen this bracket. Okay, bracket is off. Alright, let's take this gasket off. There you go. It's a good thing. It's a little bracket. It's going to fit right in there so you don't get anything wrong. Okay? I see how clean it is in there? So you know this black stuff, that ain't dirt. Okay? This is a burnt coil. So when you take readings, it's going to be all whacked. Okay, so while this is down here, we got to disconnect it up top. See that magnet? It's okay. We got this to leverage. Alright, so I hate pulling these couplers out. I hate them. But let's try and do this. Screwdriver with me right now. Oh, that was easy. Okay. So let's just follow this. So it goes through here, right here. That's all. That's all there is to it. Take this out. Old stator. Again, old stator versus new stator. Okay? Got that? And so I'm just going to put it back together the same way. Gasket might be a little tricky, so I'm just going to Just going to skip that, and then when I get it back together, we're going to test it with the multimeter. Okay, one thing I didn't mention is that when you put this gasket on, so I've kind of cleaned this up, just get a little oil and just, you know, oil this up slightly before you put it on. Okay?
Honey, your gloves are dirty, eh?
That's okay. So what I found was easiest to do was lining up the gasket, putting 2 screws on opposite ends, and kind of fitting the whole thing in there. And I just popped this in on the first try. So that's probably your best bet at getting this in. Okay, so I've got this all back together. Very important thing, you see I'm using the smallest ratchet I have. That's because, like I said before, these will snap easily, require very little torque. So just keep that in mind. If you don't have a small torque wrench, you know, don't go all gung-ho and stripping these bolts. Okay, everything's back together, I hope. And it's the moment of truth. So negative to negative, positive to positive. Let's see what it says. 11.99. It's a little low. My bike's been sitting here for a while. I just hooked up my alarm back. So let's see what happens. So I don't know if you can really. It's 11.6 right now. It's gonna be awkward because I gotta hold the clutch in for my bike. But let's just see what happens. So clutch. Okay. See that drop? It's back up to 12.913. This is looking good. 13.3. This is already better than my old Stator. It wouldn't even go past like 12.8. Oh my gosh, please don't die. Let me run it for a little bit. Okay, so let's go down here. Okay, just look around, see if you can see any oil dripping. Okay, so it looks like I did it right. There's no oil dripping so far, but you just you know, keep looking at the ground when you park your bike. Look for those little drops. It can happen. You might just need to tighten up the bolts or whatever. Hopefully that's all you need to do. Alright, it's still a little cold here, but let's give it a try. So I'm going to rev it a bit, and this thing should go up. So let's try it. There we go, 14. Okay, that's beautiful. So let's do that again. Oh yeah, 14. 14.3. So right there, that's perfect. It's exactly what you want. It's not spiking above 14.3, so that means the regulator is okay too. So that's it. Bike is ready to go.